Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and here's my post-fight review for Edgar Berlanga versus Jason Quigley. And this was an interesting fight. It wasn't super entertaining or anything like that, but it revealed a lot concerning Berlanga. Berlanga won the fight and dropped Jason Quigley 4 times, but this was a subpar performance by Berlanga. Quigley, on the other hand, put on a great performance despite getting knocked down 4 times and almost getting stopped. Based on the last few fights that Berlanga has had, I'm disappointed in his performance against Quigley, but I'm also not surprised by it and somewhat impressed. It sounds confusing, but let me explain. I was impressed with Berlanga in the early rounds of the fight. He came out in the first round looking focused, determined, and relaxed. He wasn't looking for power right away like he normally does, but instead he was trying to box Quigley, using patience and intelligent pressure to set up his power. Quigley also came out focused and determined, boxing from the outside and using his legs, looking for opportunities to counter Berlanga. Both fighters were able to land, with Quigley mostly landing jabs and a few counter right hands, while Berlanga landed some power jabs and a couple overhand rights. And round 2 would pretty much be the same, with Quigley fighting on the outside and Berlanga being a pressure fighter, but the pace would increase. Both guys showed good defense, especially Quigley with his upper body movement. However, I was still impressed with Berlanga's patience. He was applying pressure and working behind a jab, which allowed him to land the right hand several times. And this strategy would pay off in the third round because Berlanga was able to drop Quigley near the end of the round. He pinned Quigley to the ropes and landed an uppercut and then a chopping right hand. Berlanga would then follow this up with good work in the fourth round, applying more pressure and landing several 1-2 combinations. And he would even hurt Quigley in the fifth round with a left hook, which put him on the ropes again. However, Quigley began to counterpunch Berlanga with sharp right hands and left hooks that seemed to gain the respect of Berlanga. Quigley would get dropped again in the fifth round, but truth be told, it was a slip. Despite all of that, the momentum of the fight would begin to change in Quigley's favor, because Quigley started to box beautifully from the outside. He was sticking and moving with the jab, pot-shotting with the right hand, going to the body of Berlanga with the right hand as well, and most importantly, he was counter-punching Berlanga. He even hurt Berlanga with a counter left hook, and Berlanga had no answer to it. Instead of cutting off the ring, Berlanga was following Quigley. Instead of letting his hands go and throwing combinations, he was throwing single jabs and was hesitant to throw combinations in fear of being countered. He also had trouble getting past that fencing type jab that Quigley was doing. Berlanga looked very basic and he made no adjustments. This would go on from the 6th to the 11th round, and it looked like Berlanga reverted back to his old habits, and that disappointed me. He looked frustrated and confused. This made the fight very close in my opinion, but the momentum would change dramatically in the 12th round because Berlanga would go for broke and become very aggressive. Jason Quigley, on the other hand, got overconfident, and this would be a mistake because Berlanga would catch him with a big right hand that would hurt and drop Quigley. Quigley would then be on survival mode for the rest of the fight. He would also get dropped again and almost stopped. Berlanga would finish the fight strong and win the fight, but you can tell that he was disappointed in himself in a post-fight interview. He's already heavily criticized by the boxing fans for being a hype job, and this performance is going to add fuel to that narrative. But I'll have to give Berlanga some credit. Berlanga went back to his old trainer for this fight, and he did show some improvement early on in the fight, so it shows me that he wants to get better and that he could get better. But this fight showed me that he clearly has a weakness against counterpunchers and boxers that can box and move. His chin is also suspect. Berlanga called out Jaime Munguia in a post-fight interview, and I believe that's the best move for him next. And based on styles, a Munguia fight is a winnable fight for Berlanga, so respect to him for calling out a name. And it's also an easy fight to make since both of them fight on the DAZN network. However, the beef between Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn may complicate some things. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing from Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content's coming your way.